Iron sights on weapons in video games are usually one of the first things you change about a weapon, but some iron sights are just too good to take off. You don't need a scope or an optic. What is up, my friends? Non-AI Jimmy here today, and we're going to take a trip through COD history. We're going to look at the best iron sights in every single game, from Call of Duty 4 all the way through Black Ops 7, and don't worry, COD Mobile is part of this list. So you let me know what you think the best iron sights in COD history are. Drop a like. Help us on our way to 3 million subscribers. It's the revival of the OG 16-year-old channel. We start off with Call of Duty 4. I'm going to go with the P90. Had some of the cleanest iron sights in COD history. I love that it rarely ever changes from its original COD 4 design. You had the nice little semicircle with a little prong in the middle, and the frame of the gun was skinny enough that you were never going to lose track of your enemies while getting those precise shots out. A lot of people just use the P90 as a hipfire weapon. I get it. I mean, it's understandable with the amount of ammo it had and how tight the hipfire accuracy was, especially with steady aim back then, but I always had a fondness for these iron sights. Plus, if you were running the irons on this gun, that meant you could use your one solo attachment slot on a suppressor. And the suppressed P90, my friends, was one of the most underrated weapons in COD 4, so it was a bonus. Perfect way to kick off today's list, and a quick thank you to everybody that comments and interacts with me every single day on this channel. You guys have been here, a lot of you have been here forever. It's crazy. I see some of the comments from you guys telling me you started watching when you were 8 or 11 or 16, and now you're fully grown, married with kids and jobs and careers, and yes, I am getting old, but it really, really does make me happy, so I just wanted you guys to know. World at War. The Gewehr. Did I say that right? I feel like I got trolled a long time ago or called out for saying that wrong. Am I saying it right? The Gewehr? Gewehr 43? There was a lot of semi-auto rifles in World at War. That's one of the reasons why it was such a unique experience. No other game in COD history has been so reliant on semi-auto rifles instead of full auto rifles. And with the large selection of rifles to pick from, everybody has their favorite. Maybe you like the SVT. Maybe you like the M1A1. But I always thought the Gewehr was the best around, and a major reason was the iron sights. These are some of the cleanest in the game. Honestly, some of the cleanest ever for a semi-auto rifle in Call of Duty history. The frame, super tiny. Still thick enough for you to see it and use it as a center for your targets. And then you had the middle prong. It was really obvious and sharp, so you could line it up with an enemy's face and hit them with a nice little two-tap. I'm always going to hold out hope for a World at War remastered, even though I shouldn't, so I can use the guns again. I know it's not going to happen, but I'm a dreamer. All I can do in the meantime is boot up World at War through backwards compatibility and pray that I don't get in a non-hacked lobby. And then I turn the game off, because guess what? That's never going to happen. Oh, random thought. I was looking at my stats on the channel, and we're almost at 8,000 videos. 8,000 videos have been uploaded on this channel. Modern Warfare 2, 2009. Easy pick. Super easy pick. Scar H. All day. Scar has some of the best iron sights in COD history in every game that it comes out. Just hard to top something this fundamentally clean. It's clean. It's clean like capital C-L-E-A-N, clean. The Scar sights are this thin circle with a little prong in the middle, and the whole thing is elevated up off the gun, so when you aim down the sights, you never have to worry about the gun model getting in the way of your targeting. Since the iron sights were so good, you could use your attachment slot on something a little more helpful. Maybe FMJ, maybe extended mags, which were nice since the Scar had a pretty small default magazine. Scar H, top tier assault rifle with some all-time great iron sights. No other set of irons in the game even came close. Don't argue, you know it. Black Ops 1, the Galil. Now, there were some really bad iron sights in this game, but there was also some really good ones. I think the Galil had some of the cleanest iron sights ever. They were perfect for that accurate, moderate fire rate assault rifle like the Galil was. You had the thin circle. You would use it to target your enemy, and the frame of the gun was really thin as well, so it never got to be too obstructive. You wouldn't ever need to put an optic on this gun, ever. You just needed the suppressor and the iron sights. If you had that, it was going to be a good day. You were off to the races. Modern Warfare 3 2011. The MP7. It's one of the smoothest SMGs in COD history, thanks to the super high fire rate, the super low recoil, really generous damage. The range was great. I mean, I've said it before 4,000 times. This MP7 was like the power of an LMG in the body of an SMG. Obviously, you couldn't use that power unless you could see your target. And the iron sights, they helped you do that. Classic three-prong design made it super easy to line up your target with the middle one and use the other two to stay centered, stay at home. You never saw people using optics on the MP7. Why would you? These irons were way too good. They perfectly complemented the smooth handling of the gun. Another random thought. I had somebody comment the other day on a video and said, oh, this is the 8th time you've done this topic. Yeah, it's a Call of Duty history channel. So as we go throughout Call of Duty history over the 16 years we've been doing this, things change. New Call of Duties come out every year, metas change, even metas on old games change. So yeah, we do a lot of updated versions. So to that guy that tried to get my attention on that comment, you succeeded. You got my attention. And you're not wrong. We probably have done that topic, whatever topic it was, 8 times. Yeah, just going to put that out there. Black Ops 2. The AN-94. Now, I almost gave the spot to the SCAR again, but that seemed unfair since we already talked about that gun. But even then, a lot of people would argue the AN-94 actually had better iron sights, and there is no denying how iconic these were in the Black Ops 2 era of COD. Small little square on top of the gun, little prong in the middle so you could just like up your shot, and the frame of the gun was so thin you could easily track your enemies during sustained fire. Super clean, super smooth, just like the gun itself, just like the firing sound, just like the reload animation. If you ever put an optic on the Black Ops 2 AN-94, you have to ask yourself, and I have to ask you, what in the heck were you doing? Call of Duty Ghosts. A lot of you probably never even used this gun. The Maverick. The Maverick was a DLC weapon that came out with the Onslaught DLC package. Never that popular, but still really fun to use and perfectly viable. I think there was a sniper version too. One of the most memorable aspects of this gun was the iron sights. They were really tiny and very raised, but they were also flanked on both sides by these big horns that looked really cool and super futuristic at the time. You would think with all the stuff coming out of the top of the gun, these sights wouldn't actually be that good. But they were actually fantastic because all the stuff was spread out far enough that it didn't get in the way of the gunfight. And that aiming prong in the middle, it was really tiny. You never cover up the person you were trying to shoot at. Now, you may have expected me to put the Honey Badger at this spot. I get it. I almost did. But then I remembered the Maverick existed. Had to give it a little shout out here because we hardly ever talk about it. You guys mention it from time to time in the comments, but I hardly ever talk about it. It was I would say it was one of the most underappreciated guns in the game. Iron sights, perfect. Advanced Warfare. The ASM-1. Certainly one of the most spammed SMGs in the entire franchise. The ASM-1, basically a futuristic version of the iconic Thompson. And there was some, let's just say, annoying variants we know. But when it comes to irons, they were pretty unmatched in Advanced Warfare. They're basically the MP7 iron sights we talked about, but with a taller middle prong, which made it super clear and helpful in a game where everybody was bouncing around flying 50 feet in the air. Thinking back to the Advanced Warfare days, I don't think I ever saw someone use an optic on the ASM-1. Not one single time did I ever see somebody. If you did, let me know. What was the advantage? How did it work out for you? And I mean, honestly, why would you? Black Ops 3. It's really hard to top these sights. The VMP. It was one of the most popular guns in Black Ops 3. It was the competitive SMG of choice for a long time because it was just too versatile. I mean, it thankfully wasn't nearly as busted as the Black Ops 4 remake would come out a few years ago, but I digress. The VMP's appeal partially fell on its irons. Fantastic for close and mid-range combat because of the sharp design and the satisfying bounce they would do during sustained fire. It was never too heavy. It was never too heavy that it threw off your target. The VMP iron sights were kind of like a modern update to the classic MP7 iron sights. Now that I think about it, they were really 2-in-1. You had the sharp prong in the center, line up your shots, and then you had the smaller prongs on the side to keep yourself centered during those gunfights and engagements. Top tier optic. Basically, every VM player was using instead of throwing an actual optic on the gun. I mean, it was an optic, but it wasn't an optic, if that makes any sense. Infinite Warfare. The HVR. Sounds like a vaccine, right? The HVR is actually referred to as the UMP-45 in the game files, which explains why it functions exactly like a classic UMP, even though it's not a very good one. Relatively slow-firing SMG, bouncy recoil. Also pretty decent damage per shot, at least in theory, to make up for it. I say in theory because I think this gun was one of the worst in the game because even though the fire rate was low and the damage was high, just like the classic UMP, I never felt like the damage was high enough to give it a properly competitive time to kill compared to other close-range weapons in the game, especially since the actual UMP-45 was also in the game in the classic weapon category. So what's the point of the HVR? All that being said, doesn't matter. This is not a video about that. The HVR had the best iron sights in the game because they were basically a built-in ELO sight. And all of you Black Ops 3 players know that an ELO sight is one of the best optics in COD history. So yeah, I hate on the gun. I hate on the game some, but at least the iron sights were really good on this one. It's worth something. COD World War II. the PPSH-41. Now, the PP in COD World War II is one of the least historically accurate guns in COD history, but the iron sights, they were nice. Yeah, fire rate was too low, and there were some attachments that didn't actually exist, and it totally ruined the appeal of using a gun in a video game in the first place. Whatever. I'm actually not so sure these iron sights were historically accurate either, but in the context of a Call of Duty game, they were good. They were little rays with a little prong in the middle for mid-range engagements, and they were perfect shape for riding the recoil up to the enemy's head for a free headshot kill. I still don't know why Sledgehammer decided to turn the fire rate down on this, but they did. It's too late to change anything now, I guess, but also, let me know in the comment section. If you guys actually wanted an updated list of all the most historically inaccurate guns in COD history, we could do that. And to Timmy, who made that comment the other day, yeah, it would probably be the third or fourth time we did that topic. So I'm just giving you advance so you can not get upset if you accidentally click on the video and it takes away 14 minutes of your life that you can't get back. Black Ops 4. The Rampart 17 seemed to be the Black Ops 4 equivalent of the iconic SCAR. You know what? Treyarch, you did a good job here. The Rampart is an epic and chunky assault rifle. Had a relatively slow fire rate, but had some really insane damage, enough to erase you in the blink of an eye. Just like the SCAR before it, the Rampart 17 had the absolute baller iron sights. It used the same ray circle design of the classic SCAR, and it made it amazing in this game where most of the combat was happening at mid-range, which is where this gun shined and was most comfortable. It's a really good gun. And since we're on the topic, let's segue. Modern Warfare 2019, the last great modern Call of Duty. The FN SCAR 17. Feels a tad lame to put the SCAR here because we literally just talked about it again and again. But you're going to tell me the SCAR didn't have the best iron sights in Modern Warfare 2019. And to be fair, the iron sights on this version of the SCAR were slightly different than usual. Still had the ray circle design, but the top half was sawed off. Made it even less obstructive than it was without taking away any of the precision on display here. The gun was never meta, mainly because of the fire rate and the recoil and the magazine size and the movement speed and a lot of other things. It wasn't that good of a gun. But the iron sights, they were absolutely perfect. Black Ops Cold War. The FFAR. The FFAR 1. One of the best FAMAS remakes in COD history. The FFAR 1 started out as one of the best guns in the entire game. Then it was nerfed into oblivion, which was a bit of a bummer because now it's just this little itty bitty pea shooter that kind of looks like the classic FAMAS. But one thing Treyarch could never take away from the FFAR was the fantastic iron sights. They were clean. They were sharp. I would honestly say they're some of the best irons in COD history, not just Black Ops Cold War. Little bouncy by default because of the recoil, but just throw on a few attachments. You could eliminate the recoil and you were left with super clean irons that would never get in your way in any direction and made the gun so satisfying to use until Treyarch nerfed it and nobody ever used it again. I have a question. What is it with Treyarch and nerfing guns that everyone likes while leaving the actual overpowered weapons untouched? It happens way too many times. Should be a topic for a video. Call of Duty Vanguard, the second best Call of Duty. The STG-44. Hardly anyone was using iron sights in this game because every gun had 10 attachment slots. I mean, you could literally put everything on these guns. Everything. Each put an optic on there, right? Especially since there was a bunch of super clean iron or sights that didn't exist in World at War or World War II, but they're in the game anyway. I'm getting shuffled here. I know I'm a little bitter about the game, but it's who I am. You can't blame me. The STG, though, had really good iron sights. I don't know what else to say. They were clean, they were small, they were sharp, they got the job done really well until you unlocked your 10 freaking attachment slots and you turned the gun into a freak of nature that didn't resemble anything from the 1940s. But congratulations to the STG-44. You had the best iron sights in the game according to someone who didn't like the game. Modern Warfare 2 2022. The TAC-56. It's a SCAR L. You should know what to expect, right? Yeah. The TAC had the exact same iron sights as all the best SCARs in COD history. So you got that raised circular spot for rolling over your target. Then you keep the body of the gun down low so it never gets in the way. The SCAR iron sights, they're amazing. This should have been a SCAR video. I don't even know the last time I saw anybody in a Call of Duty game running the SCAR rifle with an optic. Like, it's insane how much better the SCAR irons are than everything else in the entire franchise. And while we're talking about the SCAR, freaking A, we might as well just get the other one out of the way and move on, right? Modern Warfare 3 2023. The TAC-56, again, deja vu. The gun rolled over into Modern Warfare 3 because Modern Warfare 3 is a glorified DLC pack. Naturally, it had the best iron sights again. It's not to say there weren't any other guns in Modern Warfare 3 with good irons because there were some good ones. The MCW springs to mind, but nothing comes close to the TAC. Yeah, I know there's a few guns in the TAC platform in both Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3, and most of them use the same iron sights. You don't have to comment that. I get it. There's several SCAR type weapons in both games, and they all have the same SCAR type iron sights. I'm going to put the TAC here, and it's going to be the representative for all of them since this was the most popular example. The point is, nothing beats the SCAR iron sights. Let's move on. Black Ops 6, the C9. This version of the MP5 got a stupid new non-copyrighted name, but it also got a slight tweak to the iron sights. And while the MP5 is generally seen as having good irons, I think this version was clearly better than usual because Treyarch decided to saw the top off, just like the SCAR in Modern Warfare 2019. So it had the circle design with the prong in the middle, but you also had the better peripheral vision. Hopefully the years of MP5 spam are behind us, but I'll admit, I had a decent amount of fun using this version, and I don't think I ever felt the need to attach any kind of optic to it. Black Ops 7. The MXR 17. I mean, it feels like I'm cheating because the MXR 17 is basically just the Black Ops 7 version of the Rampart 17 from Black Ops 4, which means the iron sights are once again just classic SCAR. But you know what? I'm not going to go through Black Ops 7 gun selection a second time to see if there's anything better than the classic SCAR iron sights because we already know the answer. There's not. We did a list not too long ago ranking the top 20 overall best iron sights in COD history, and I gave the SCAR the #1 spot. So I hold true to that. It shouldn't be shocking that I gave it so much attention and love today. So even though the MXR 17 isn't technically the SCAR, it gets the best iron sight spot for Black Ops 7 because the iron sights are basically just copy-pasted from the Rampart, and those were just copy-pasted from the classic SCAR, and the classic SCAR has top-tier iron sights. Finally, COD Mobile. DRH. Oh, look, one more SCAR. I mean, I don't really mean to pick the SCAR over and over again, but we're at the point of the list where it's pretty clear nothing's going to beat it. If the game has a SCAR type rifle, it's always going to have the best iron sights in the game, and that's not anything that I can do anything about. The DRH is the COD Mobile version of the SCAR, and it uses the classic SCAR iron sights. So here it is, taking the COD Mobile spot because what do you want me to do? Seriously. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you made it to the end of the video, I truly, truly appreciate you because apparently YouTube wants you to click on the video and stay engaged with the video and watch the video all the way through and then comment on the video and like the video and share the video. And then I have a 1 in 1,000 chance of it getting recommended. I don't know what I'm on today, guys. I hope you have a great day.